What's happening, everybody? Welcome to Thrifty Business with Jay and Nay. I am your host, Vegas Jay, and with me, as always, is...
Philly Nay. Hi, everybody.
What's happening? And look at that. We have an audience tonight. Oops, going the wrong way. You make some sounds. Now you're there.
Hey.
You're on the air. So we have Cheryl, my good friend. I feel like I'm on the Family Feud. We have my good friend, Cheryl. We have my lovely wife, Stacy, holding our little baby, Atocha, and our guest tonight, Cambridge. All right, it is Thursday night, and what do we do at the top of every Thursday night? We
Tiki Talk.
Oh, my mouse is not being friendly with me there.
We are ready to do Jay's Tiki Talk.
All right, it is time for Jay's Tiki Talk. We talk about rum, we talk about tiki mugs, a little bit of everything. But tonight, shockingly, no rum in this tiki drink. We had a fan of our show said, hey, Jay, any tiki drinks without rum because I'm allergic to rum, and my heart stopped. Allergic to rum? How could that possibly be? Say it isn't so. So I knew of the ultimate classic tiki drink. It is called the Suffering Bastard, and it is made with gin and bourbon. So no rum whatsoever.
And I am on pain medicine from my surgery, so I am drinking tea tonight. Nothing exciting.
And what kind of tea are you drinking, my dear?
It is green tea with pomegranate.
Very nice. All right, so in the Suffering Bastard, it actually comes with a very specific mug. It is called the Suffering Bastard mug. If you find a vintage one, you can get at least $100 every day of the week. I shockingly don't have one, but I have a kind of modern one from a company that makes mugs that I collect, and this is called the Wannabe Bastard. So this kind of looks like the Suffering Bastard, kind of mopey, and I'm going to shock you again. I've never had this drink. In all my years of hanging out at tiki bars, I've never had the Suffering Bastard, and that's one of the main tiki drinks. So here we go. That's a drink. That is not rum, but that is a drink. Bourbon and gin and ginger ale, bitters, and fresh lime juice. No, but that's all right. I like that. I'm going to put him right back here so he's in the shot. And how's your tea?
My tea is pretty good. For tea, yes, it's good. Not as good as your drink, I'm sure, but
yeah, we'll get you back on there. Oops. We will get you back on having cocktails. All right. We have a new segment tonight. Oh, that was weak sauce. Let's try that again. We got a new segment tonight. It's Nay's breast cancer update and fact of the week. Ta-da! All right, the floor is yours, Nay.
So I know everybody's wondering how I'm doing, so I'm being very out in the open about my journey. Thank you so much, everyone, for the support and the thoughts. It's been a very rough week because I did just have my double mastectomy a little over a week ago, but I am up, I am moving around, I am forcing myself, I'm going to physical therapy now already. Had my drains out. I know that doesn't sound too pleasant, but they're gone. And I just went to the doctor today, and I got some decent news. The left side that I electively had taken off was completely filled with precancerous cells, so I know I made the right decision. That would have been full-blown cancer in probably just a couple years. And my right side was full of cancer. However, the invasive cancer was only in the first line of lymph nodes, so hopefully that means something good, and I will go to the oncologist on Tuesday and find out more. I'm also having full-body CAT scans and bone scans next week, so we'll get that fear, that hump of fear over with next week. So hopefully nothing will be found anywhere else, and I'm just pressing on, and I'm going to fight. So, and I also wanted to give a little fact every week about breast cancer just to keep up on the awareness part. And my fact for this week is that there's over 2.8 million women who are breast cancer survivors in the U.S. alone, and that's an astounding number. It's also very encouraging because it's encouraging for me and other women like me who are fighting, but it's also sad because it shows that we really need we really need to raise awareness and you know, better technology and better detection, earlier detection, because that's a high number, and that's just the survivor number. So that's all I have to say, and thank you for listening.
For looking awesome a week after surgery.
Thank you so much. Thank you everybody for the support again. It really means a lot. It's keeping me going.
All right, it is time for our score of the week. And we're going to start with my scores here, then we'll hop over to Nay's. And mine, I just sold yesterday, and we just packed it today. And you might see the shipping tip in a future episode because it was a little bit tricky. I sold this 3-foot-long plush armadillo. And if you can see in the picture, that's a Bud Light can. Because I felt without a little bit of scale, people would have thought, even though I wrote the words 3 foot long, people would have thought it was a smaller plush. So I bought this for $5 and I sold it for $100. Oh, actually, this is part of my shipping tip this week. So you'll hear more about this armadillo. So study it, learn it, remember it. We'll come back to him in a little bit.
Very good. And I like that you use the can as the scale. I actually have done that before, you know, with a soda can because it's something that everybody knows the size of, and it gives a great reference for perspective. So that's a good tip too.
My other score of the week are these red 501 Levi's. I had them up for exactly 1 month, and they sold for $65. And they were made in the USA Levi's. So keep your eyes open for that. And especially keep your eyes open for different colors. Tons of blues, but purples, reds, blacks, the dark rinse of blue. You don't see them as often. So
how do you know it was made in the USA?
Because it says made in the USA.
Oh,
so those are my two scores. And now here is Nadine's score.
Okay, now this is a score. You see $19.99 there, but I sold 4 of them to the same person. And actually, it's kind of funny because a couple weeks ago when we had Lynn Drawley on, I was going to ask her about these because these were sitting in my store for a while and they weren't selling. And then lo and behold, a couple weeks later, all 4 of them sold, $19.99 a piece, so that was an almost $80 sale right there. And she got them, she was thrilled. So that also goes to show that when you have a multi-variation listing, often, especially with something like this, someone will come along and just buy everything that you have. So that was a great sale. So.
Yay! My audience is a little lackluster today. I got to fire them up.
We're intrigued. You're listening intently.
Now I'm showing this one because I had just talked about these a couple weeks ago. They were actually purchased when Jason was here thrifting with me at that Salvation Army in the sketchy neighborhood that we went to. And they are Lily Pulitzer sandals. They had this beautiful frog. It was like a really blingy kind of jeweled frog on it, and they sold. I think they actually sold her full asking price. It was a couple weeks ago, but of $39.99. And again, happy customer, so good sale there. And I paid I think $7.99 for those. So
much better. I feel like I woke up the audience. All right. You have a live audience, and they're all quiet. All righty, we've done our score. Now it is time for the duds of the week. And you will recognize my dud from 2 weeks ago or a week ago. The Jason Giambi jersey that I had asked him, well, actually, maybe I'm sorry, maybe it was on the show, but I asked him our group, 13 with the boys, why isn't my Giambi jersey selling? It is a batting practice jersey, New York Yankees, and I bought it on season 2 of Thrift Hunters, and it wasn't selling. I asked in the group, and like with anything, if you touch something, if you talk about it, if you question it, it sells. It only sold for a whole $16, but it sold. So I got a dud that I've had for a year out of my house. I only paid $3, so I probably banked like $2, $3. So it wasn't a huge, it wasn't a complete dud, but it was a dud that I was happy to get rid of.
Yay!
Well, getting rid of a dud is definitely a good thing.
And then here's May's dud, and then we'll do some live in-person dud.
Okay, so I sell a lot of sewing patterns, and usually vintage Vogue patterns are good sellers, even especially a little girl's dress like this. However, I made the mistake. I usually don't buy cut patterns unless there's something that are really popular and I know are going to sell well. So I made the mistake. It was all folded. It looked like it was factory folded. I got it home. I opened it. I checked it out, and it was all cut. So unfortunately, this did not sell as much as it would have had it been uncut and factory folded. It probably would have sold for a good $10 more. But at least it sold, it's gone, and it's just a little lesson to really check your patterns if you don't want to buy uncut patterns, to really check them while in the thrift store. So.
Woo!
Hey, it's a boo, it's a dud, boo.
But she got rid of it.
That's true.
I got rid of it, yes.
And then I actually have a live dud that you saw this in our first episode when Nay and I were in Philly together. I bought this cool old school baseball fields tie. What I didn't see is it's falling apart. And my assistant found it when he was trying to list it. So I could probably get it fixed, but unless it's going to be, a $30, $40 tie, it ain't worth it. So there's my dud. Pay attention when you're thrifting. Don't get so excited you forget to look at everything.
And it is a cool tie. It's a shame.
Is that a boo? Boo!
You can boo me. You can boo me for my crummy skills of picking. All right, we've done our scores. We've done our duds, and then you know what time it is. It is our close encounters of the thrifty kind. Nadine and I spend a lot of time in thrift stores, and sometimes we have weird encounters. Sometimes funny, sometimes creepy, sometimes scary. And my story this week is scary to me. I was thrifting, and it was a hot summer day. And I was in the big, large furniture section of a thrift store looking at big pieces. And I was hot, and I was thirsty, and I cracked open my water, and I took a big sip, and I put the lid back on, and I set it back down in front of me. And then I remembered I didn't bring a bottle of water into the store.
Oh.
And I wish I had security footage of me going,
Oh.
I called my wife right away. I said, in case I die, here's what just happened. My water was in the car still, and I just drank somebody's strange water. So, yuck.
Yuck is right.
Yeah, there is my close encounters of the kind.
Yes,
Yeah, it
so
was a few
mine,
years ago, so I lived. Thank God.
That's something my kids would do. That's pretty funny. So my thrifty encounter is the woman who couldn't figure out what anything was in the thrift store, and I met her in every aisle. I don't know if she thought that, and this is kind of timely for Cambridge's guest appearance, because I'm not sure if it was kind of obvious to me that I was shopping, but I'm not sure if she thought I was an employee but every aisle that I met her in, she was asking me what each item was, and she stumped me on a couple. Like, there was something that looked like a wine rack, but I don't think it actually was. There was a lamp base. There was a paper towel holder. There were a few items, and and then she started complaining about nothing being labeled about specifically what it was. But some of the things were pretty obvious to me, so I think it was partially, on her end. But it was an interesting encounter.
Stalker.
Yes, it was very interesting. I did bump into her in just about every aisle, and she had questions for me.
I will say, along those same lines, I worked in a lot of CD stores, and I shop in a lot, and I always have a giant basket of CDs in front of me. And even though I usually have headphones on because I'm listening to a podcast, people always ask me where the blue section is. I'm like, I don't work here. I go, I'm putting these into the basket, not taking them out and falling them away.
It was a similar situation. It was very odd.
All right, now it is time for the thrifty tip of the week. And going into tonight, I didn't have a tip. I mean, I could have figured out something, but I went thrifting today. I know, shocker, isn't it? And I've said this tip many, many times, but it came true today, so I might as well share it again. Go to the ladies' nightgown section as opposed to the men's nightgown section, I guess. I guess I didn't need to say ladies there. Go to the nightgown section and look for muumuus, Hawaiian dresses. And so I found this one today, it's gonna be really tough to. Oh, here, hold this up, would you? If you wouldn't mind.
Oh, is that new with tags?
Yeah, go closer to Stace. Yeah, there we go. Is a vintage late 80s, early 90s Hilo Hattie Moo new with tags.
Nice.
And then, thank you very much for being my lovely assistant. And then if you see on the tag, it says women's nightgowns. Once again, you guys don't have to have the word women's on here.
True.
True. Nightgowns is nightgowns. So go to the nightgown section, look for the moo-moos, look for the Hawaiian dresses. They are always there. And I will say this, I will admit this live on YouTube. This is the person who told me that. My wife, who is not a thrifter, we were in a store. I remember this exactly. We were in a store in Tucson, and I'd already combed the dress section looking for moo-moos. She walked up to me about 10 minutes later holding the coolest vintage moo-moo I've ever sold. And I said, where the hell did you find that? And she goes, duh, they're always in the nightgown section. And I'm like, when were you going to tell me that? I never knew that, because that was before I shopped in the nightgown section. Now I'm in there all the time anyway. But that's your tip. A, listen to your wife. B, go.
I like A. I like A a lot.
Go to the nightgown section and look for moo-moos. All right, you are up.
Okay, so mine is to always check out the linen section of your thrift store for hidden gems. I know some of you might be a little afraid of that section. It might not be your usual selling, the section that you usually check out or sell. But look for fabric. I actually was going to show you some of the vintage fabric I had, but I forgot to pull it, so no visual tonight. But look for fabric. Vintage is awesome. Sometimes I will sell a yard of vintage fabric for between $30 to $50. So that's amazing. But also another tip is old sheets especially when they have characters on them, like the old Smurfs or 101 Dalmatians, or all those characters from the 80s, even early 90s. They sell well, and they're often purchased as fabric for crafters. So don't only advertise them as bed sheets, but also as fabric. And always inspect them thoroughly while you're in the thrift store for stains and holes and flaws, because that can be a deal breaker. But that's my tip for the week.
Deal breaker. All right, now it is time for... You have got to be shipping me. We give you shipping tips. A lot of times it's what not to do. Today I'm going to give you kind of what to do and kind of what not to do. So remember that big armadillo? Look back in your brain. Remember the big armadillo? I had free parcel select on that armadillo. It was $13.67 to Delaware. But I'm a smart seller. I checked compare shipping rates before I sent it, and priority mail was only 62 cents more. So I'm going to get it to him in 2 days instead of a week. It only cost me 62 cents, not that big of a deal, and I will have a very, very happy customer. Now,
nice.
Thank you. Now, kind of what not to do. I ordered a T-shirt from a major online clothing seller, DXL. That's for big boys. That is the big men's sizes. I bought one T-shirt, which if I was selling it would fit nicely in this, and they sent it in this. Talk about a little overkill. Let me show you what I would send it in and what they sent it in, okay? So they obviously don't care about their costs, but us little sellers do. Make sure you have the right sizes for the right object. A single T-shirt does not need this.
No, that's overkill there, yes.
Yeah, just a tad. Oh, oops. You are up, Nay.
Okay, so my shipping tip is timely for my current situation, which is that I am on pain medicine. I just had surgery, and I'm not allowed to drive for a few weeks at least. So obviously, when I sell something, I just yesterday finally got my store back on off of vacation mode, and I've sold 2 things that have to go out tomorrow, and I can't drive myself to the post office. So what I will be doing is using the USPS pickup. They actually will come to your house and they will pick up your packages. So I have a further tip. when I was talking to Jason about this, he was saying to friend your postal carrier too. In my case, I live in the city, so my postal carrier does not pick up packages. They actually have to send a separate truck out because our postal carriers here in the city travel on foot. But it is, if you have let's say you have no priority packages going out for the next day, you just have first class, like let's say you sold 3 t-shirts and they're all going first class because they're all under 13 ounces, the post office will not pick anything up that is not priority or an upgrade of priority. So all you have to do is grab a padded flat rate envelope, upgrade one of those shirts to priority, and then they will take all of your packages. If you have 15 other packages that aren't priority, but you have one that is, they'll pick up for you. So that's my shipping tip of the week.
Smart.
Yay! Good tip, good tip. All right, now we are to my favorite thing, and here we go. Is the 2-minute topic of the week. And our question this week was submitted by Ron. Hey, how do you say Ron's last name? Do you know?
Hayslip Hansberry. He's a good friend of mine.
And Ron, I didn't want to mess it up, and I knew Nadine could pronounce it, so I let her do it. And the question is, do you buy art? Do you recommend doing so for the average seller? All right, so, we got our little timer, so let me get it.
Am I up first on this then?
Yep, so let me click you into the front, and we'll get it down here on the bottom so everyone can see it. And you got 60 seconds, and you're off.
Okay. Yes, I do buy art, and I actually have a strong art history background. My day job is actually a graphic designer, and I have a fine art background, so I know some stuff about. Actually, I know some stuff about art. I consider needlepoint art too, so I do buy a lot of that. But as far as paintings and whatnot, there's a few different categories that that I would say, and sculptures too. That I would say they fall in. One is just kitschy, silly art. If you can see the clown painting behind me that Jason picked up when we were thrifting, that would be like kitschy, kind of crazy, silly, goofy art that somebody would actually buy to actually put up in their house, but it's kind of like a kitschy, cheesy kind of thing. So amateur art like that does sell. That's one category. Another one is kind of like amateur art that's not done by a well-known artist, but is well done, and you can actually, get some decent prices depending upon the subject matter. Oh no, I went over. See, I'm talking about art.
I know, it's your favorite topic. You usually come in.
Yeah,
The reason
so
it's
I
my
can keep
favorite
talking,
category. The reason it's my favorite segment is because you always come in at 55.
But I love art, so we're talking about something that, so, okay.
You just would have kept going forever.
I could have. I wasn't
Hour,
realize it was going on.
Hour 4. Let's talk about pastels. All right, so let me reset, and I will be off and running. Yes, I do too buy art, but I do not have the skills that Nay possesses, so here's what I look for. I do look for kitschy. One of the best paintings hanging in our house is a nude, and I found it at a swap meet for $10, and it's huge, and it has this bitchin' vintage frame on it. I kept it, of course, because it had boobies on it, but if I did not like it, it would have been a great sale, $150. I only paid $10. So I look for the kitschy. Now, here's what else I'm looking for. I don't know art real well, so when I'm in the art section, I'm looking for numbered pieces. I'm looking for hand-signed pieces. I don't care if I know the artist or not. Once I see that it's a numbered piece or a printer proof or an artist proof, which would be PP or AP, I know that this was meant to be limited, and I'm going to then stop and pause and look it up. And even though I have not sold much lately, I have tons of art sitting downstairs. I just need to buy the proper boxes, and then I'll be off and running because I got some good low-numbered limited stuff.
So you basically covered the part that I couldn't cover. So good job.
Yay! All right, so we're going to talk about a couple quick things before we bring our guest on here. And what Nay and I decided to do is, besides our weekly show, we decided to do Jay and Nay's thrift hauls. And this is a picture of one of my hauls that was an afternoon spend at Savers. So lots and lots of stuff. We did one a couple of weeks ago. Nadine obviously isn't thrifting right now, but I do. And so I thrifted, and Nadine did color commentary. And what we decided was, besides Nay and I doing our thrifting hauls, we're going to do your thrifting hauls. So we have our first guest lined up for this Saturday. So once I schedule it, you can actually watch us live. They're going to be short, about 15 minutes. But if you want us to kind of critique your haul, drop us a note at our fan page, Thrifty Business with Jay and Nay, and you could be our next guest. We'll tell you what you did good on. We'll ask you, holy cow, why'd you buy that? And if you screwed something up, we'll let you know that too, because we all learn from our mistakes. So stay tuned for more haul videos. We'll have one with a guest this week, and next week we'll have one with me. I went thrifting today where Cambridge works. I found some sweet, sweet shit, so tune in.
It's very exciting, yes. So.
And then one more thing I want to bring up before we get to our guest, and I have done some work with the buybox.club, and it is a, you get the candy of the month, the t-shirt of the month. Well, this is kind of like the e-commerce helper of the month. You actually get a DVD with all these videos, and this month I'm the featured video with other major sellers that you'll see stuff from John Lawson and Chris Green, and you have all kinds of things to help you be the best seller you can be. And I will be sharing more info on this tonight and tomorrow. But I just want to let everybody know that I'm the featured seller this month. And I actually produced a very nice 15-minute video, if I do say so myself, with the help of my lovely wife. And I will turn this off so you can see my lovely camera woman. She's not going to get her due because I did not put any credits on, but there she is. So she filmed me, and it's a pretty cool video with a lot of good tips.
Yay! Yay me!
All right, so give me 2 seconds, and Nadine, you have the floor for a second.
Yeah, so our guest is Cambridge, and I know Cambridge a little bit, and she is absolutely awesome. She's wonderful. She works at a thrift store, so we are going to get a actual thrift store employee's perspective, which is a different perspective, and I think it's going to be really exciting. She's really sweet, and she's open to answering some questions about actually being an employee and some of the behind-the-scenes stuff at the thrift stores. So I'm really excited to have Cambridge on. So this is going to be a fun guest. So we should have her on momentarily.
Oh, hello, who's here? Oh, it's Cambridge.
Hello.
And there she is. Yay!
Hey, Cambridge.
I look gigantic, and you look tiny when I was sitting a little too close there. So just a little history of Cambridge. Cambridge works at the biggest savers in Vegas, in the country, maybe?
In the country,
yes,
actually.
in the country.
Yeah.
It is gigantic. If you have not been to Vegas and thrifted, you have not seen a large thrift store. It will blow your mind. And so over the years, Cambridge and I just started chit-chatting, and she has helped us out when we film there. And Cambridge and I become friends outside of just hanging out at the store, and we hang out. So I thought, what better person to have an in-studio guest as Cambridge. So I went and thrifted today. She got off work. I picked her up. We came over here. It was perfect.
Got the inside scoop, guys.
And so we put out, we asked for questions from our fan page and from Thrifting with the Boys. We got tons of great questions. A couple screwy ones. If you don't hear your question, that question means if she answered it, she'd probably get fired. So, we asked her, we have skipped the question.
We want her to keep her job, yes.
Yes.
Value my job, guys.
Yes. She needs to pay her bills like we all do.
Yeah.
All right. So I will go first. All right. Do thrift store employees get first dibs? Sub question: have people tried to work there so they get first crack at cool stuff?
We actually do not get first dibs. We used to before when I first started working there. Then some employees started taking advantage of that and pricing things cheaper so they could, of course, get a cheaper price. And the company decided that they want customers to get the first choice. And I have gotten some people that have wanted the job just so they can get the discount and get first dibs. But now we have a 48-hour rule. We have to wait 2 days before we can purchase what we want. It stinks because usually, especially if you're at the cash register, you always ring up what you want to get. Somebody's always buying what you wanted to purchase. So that's a bummer.
Do you know the Target lady when Kristen Wiig did it on Saturday Night Live? She's like, "Oh, where'd you get that?"
No.
I gotta imagine you guys do that. Like, "Oh, when did this come in? Oh,
Suddenly,
crap!"
There's a wrong tag. I can't sell this, ma'am. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I've actually had that happen at the counter at the thrift store where the employee was like, "Oh, this is so awesome," and I feel bad. So I guess a lot of thrift stores do have that rule now. Okay, so are we ready for my question now?
Get it.
Okay, so someone asked, I believe that the vast majority of thrifters are pretty nice, but has your store ever had to actually ban thrifters?
All of our thrifters are pretty nice, I guess. We have
Wait. Let me tell you a quick story. I don't mean to interrupt you. Today when I was ringing out, I forgot to have her ring up one thing. So when I rang it up, she rang it up. She didn't realize I hadn't paid yet. She's like, "Thank you. Have a nice day." Now, if I wasn't a nice thrifter, I've been like, "Oh, $330 worth of stuff. Goodbye." I'm like, "Do you want my credit card?" It was not Cambridge. It was not Cambridge.
No, it was not me yet. We actually have a pretty good experience with thrifters. There's only one couple that I won't say couple, they're a mom and daughter duo, I guess you could say. And the only problem we've had with them is theft. And there has been some issues, and we have had to ban them. So that's the only problem.
That's not cool, and that's a good reason to ban.
No.
Yeah.
By the way, I stole the couch today. I stuck it under my shirt and walked out with it.
Yeah.
What? All right. Who decides how to price the merchandise?
That would be us, just the regular employees. Currently I'm in the shoe department, so I decide the prices. We go on based on a certain system, 1 to 5 stars. What we think the value is, of the item goes based on brand, quality, if it's in style, if there's extra embellishments on it and so forth. The only time we would ask for opinion would be if we think it's a very valuable item, and we would go to the manager and ask them, what should I price this for? Or if we don't know, like if it's a collectible or a limited edition item. Otherwise, we pick the price.
Okay. The next question is, in your opinion as an employee, what is the best day of the week to thrift at Savers, and at what time of the day?
I would definitely say right now Thursday is the best day to shop. They keep changing the discount days. We have a club card. You can get the club card, get certain discounts on certain days. Thursdays right now is 25% off. It's this cute little red card. Other times it gives you half off on certain days.
Bam!
Every Monday you get a certain percentage off of certain departments in the store as well. But Thursdays is great because you get not only 25% off your entire purchase, but you also get 50% off a certain color tag. And I guess for time, definitely the processing time, the best time when the product is out on the sales floor would be like around a little bit maybe before noon, but noon to 3 o'clock is when we have a lot of the fresh product hitting the floor.
Okay.
And you've never told me that.
It seems like you have.
Oh, yes, I have. Long time ago. You have forgotten.
She told me.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
I did actually.
Where's the love for Big J?
Throw me out of the bike.
No, you wanted me to tell him. I forgot. My bad.
That's it. I'm out of here.
Jealous.
Goodbye.
I'm so jealous that we don't have Savers where I live. They seem to have some really great discount programs. So unfortunately, our Goodwills don't have quite as good savings programs. So that's nice, but no Savers here, unfortunately.
I would say the worst days to go would be Sundays and Mondays. There's no processing whatsoever. You don't
Okay.
Yeah, you won't find much good stuff. Everything's already been picked over. So when there's no processing, there's no fresh product.
So, and we should have said this at the beginning. Cambridge has worked both the front of the store and the back of the store, so she knows pretty much everything.
Absolutely.
And for those of you who don't have Savers, because I'm watching the chat, no Savers in Michigan, no Savers in Florida, boo. I like Savers, and some people say, aren't they a little more expensive? And I think they are, but I don't mind it. I pay a premium for a couple things. I pay a premium for a clean store with nice employees, and a bathroom. Sometimes a boy's got to poop, and you need a bathroom, so you gotta go. No, some stores don't have bathrooms, and I had a pee place today when I was thrifting. But here's the best part of Savers.
What's his schedule? You just pee schedule?
No, I just had to go. I got it. But here's the best part. If a clothing rack holds 100 items, in this town especially, Goodwill will put on 150 items on that rack, and you can't move through it. Savers puts on about 80, and you can work through the rack. And that's why I end up buying more stuff, because it's easier to see. So I don't mind paying a premium for nice employees, a bathroom, and ease of shopping. So
I will agree with that because I've been to several Savers with you, Jay, when I've been in Vegas, and I will say that the stores are definitely more organized and better layout than our Goodwills and our other thrift stores here. So I do like Savers. Wish they would come to my area, but okay.
I wish Savers would pay me. I'm their #1 cheerleader, and I'm sure I have sent more people to Savers than anybody in the country. All right, let's get back to Cambridge.
Okay.
That's why she's here. What can we do as thrifters to help out Savers? Or another way of putting it, how do thrifters irritate Savers employees, Savers corporate, and what can we do to avoid it? So
well,
that's a lengthy question, but basically, what can people shopping do to not piss off the Savers?
I would have to say the only thing that we do get annoyed with is like the constant hovering with certain thrifters. Like let's say the jewelry department or the books department. It's such a battle going on there. Like, I don't even like going to the books department if I have to roll out new books because I feel like I'm going through a war zone. People are waiting for you. They wait by the door. They're constantly trying to look through the racks at you, and you put books out. They're grabbing from the carts. The thing that I think we hate the most is when they grab stuff off the carts. We have things in a certain order, especially when you're doing books, because, you know, there's certain book areas, obviously, and when they're messing it all up, it makes it harder for us to put the product out, and we do have a quota and time constraints, so to us that is definitely one of the most annoying things. But once you have regulars that come in and we let them know that and we become friendly, then, you know, they back off and they wait till the product is on the shelf. However, I swear to you, in that books department, the second you put that book on the shelf, 3 people attack you, you know, to get that book. And it's like shark. It's like, it's crazy. That's the only thing.
That sounds rough. Yes, I wouldn't.
Look, I added your name. Yeah, nice. See, it works out perfect.
Nice.
I was wondering how to do that.
You spelled it wrong.
Did I?
No, I'm just kidding.
Wait, what? I was like, oh shit. Oh my gosh.
Just kidding.
All right, Nay, you're away.
Okay. So how much of your...
You can skip the last part of that question.
Oh, okay.
You'll see.
Yeah. So how much of your paycheck stays at Savers with all of the great finds that you have there?
Oh my gosh. Obviously a lot. It becomes very addicting. Even though we don't get the product we want right away because we have to wait 2 days, we still obviously get, you know, we still get great finds, and you know, we do have an awesome discount, so that really makes it really hard. Our paycheck, I feel like my paycheck personally goes straight back into Savers. It's the one reason why my whole house is decorated, and, you know, it's fantastic, but also, you know, it makes me very broke. So, and you find, depending on what department, like when I first did shoes, I was buying a whole bunch of, you know, sandals, and then when I was in books, I buy a ton of books, and then when I'm in clothing, I buy a ton of clothes, and you realize we have a problem, and you need to stop this. I would say a vast majority of my check goes to Savers, unfortunately, or fortunately.
Well, this is awesome because Mr. Sadie123 just asked the question that's next on the list. That is crazy timing, and it is, do you thrift and sell also?
Yes, that is crazy timing.
I actually do not thrift and sell. It's actually against the policy for employees to buy and resell.
Really?
As far as them ever really finding out, I, you know, don't think that they could, but it is actually against the policy. Yeah.
Perfect timing.
Yeah, right. 1, 2, 3.
So one of our viewers is wondering if you or other workers have the urge to keep items for a special customer or for themselves.
Special customer right here.
Yeah. Absolutely, we have the urge. I mean, because we do not get first dibs, that means that that item that we want is out there for 2 whole days. And usually if we want it, somebody else wants it because it's obviously good or you know, something that's hot. But it's against the rules. We can't hide stuff. If we're caught hiding stuff, you know, you get in big trouble. And stashing stuff for customers is considered sweethearting, so is, you know, giving customers special discounts. So that's obviously against the rules, and it's actually really hard to get away with that sometimes. So I mean, at all, I don't do it at all.
Can you say, hey, I just, you know, we just put out some great stuff down there, I mean, can you direct?
Yeah, of course I can direct someone. I mean, sometimes even if I personally want something and I can't get it for 2 days, I'll have somebody else come in and get it for me, but it'll be full price. Yeah, but it'll be full price, which is, you know, but still full price at Savers is still, you know, decent, absolutely. But yeah, we can't stash stuff.
Understandable.
Yeah.
All right. Thrift stores bring out all kinds of people. What's the craziest thing that's ever happened with a customer while you were at work? And knowing Cambridge for years and years and years, this could fill up 2 hours. So
it really could.
Yes. So she'll pick out her favorite, but there's many, many more. I've heard them all.
And somebody just asked that in the chat room not too long ago, so that's funny too.
Yeah, I have 5 years experience with some crazies. And then unfortunately, kind of in our area where our store is, there's a lot of druggies. I mean, there's no delicate way to say this. So we get a lot of crazy people that come in and, you know, they're twacked out of their mind. And unfortunately that, you know, there's a lot of instances with that. But I would have to say the one that always does stick out in my mind is we get a lot of theft in our store. And there was one man that came in to steal, and we knew he was stealing. He was shoving stuff in his jacket, and, you know, he was thin as a rail, and suddenly he's like, you know,
Santa Claus.
Yeah, that's kind of obvious.
And not only that, but like he was being so obvious to where he not only had everything stashed with him, but he also had an armful of just stuff, clothing. You know, sometimes they have suitcases. They fill up our suitcase and run out with the suitcase.
Wow.
We tried to confront him. That was one of my favorite things to do when I was working up at the front, was trying to snap those thieves. But he had his arm full of stuff, and we were trying to confront him with stealing. And he got away from us. We let him walk away because he decided to poop and pee his way out.
No.
Literally, we're like, you're stealing. You need to go, give us your stuff. And it smells. We're like, why does it smell? And we're looking, and it's coming out of his pants. And he's just, he's like, I'm going to do this. And we're like, just go, just go.
Oh, that's crazy. Oh, that's horrible.
If you want to steal, that's the way to do it.
I like the record to reflect. We've mentioned poop twice in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, it comes very easy.
Oh, wow. That is definitely a crazy story.
Nay, I'm going to sidetrack for a quick sec. We got a good question in the chat. Now, I can't answer all the questions or I can't ask Cambridge all the questions from the chat because we did put it up for discussion for a couple of days now. So we have, oops, not on me. We have lots of questions here. So, but, crap. You guys are going fast tonight. Is it okay for a customer to ask if something you want is getting ready to put on the floor? Okay.
If something in particular you want.
Yeah. So if I walk past the back room, like I always do, and look in, and I say, hey, Cambridge, can I see that book? Is that cool? Yeah,
I mean, there's a guy that does that with the shoes, and I don't let it slide with him sometimes just because he's an a-hole about it, but Jason's really nice. I mean, if you're going to smile like, hey, how you doing? You know, I mean, look at that. It's kind of hard to say no, especially, you know, you're kind of intimidating Jason. I'm sorry.
What?
But,
big teddy bear.
Just kidding. But this guy, you know, they'll be like, let me see that shoe, let me see that shoe. But you have to remember, we're trying to get a quota. You know, we have strict quota to hit, and if you keep stopping me, you know, from processing or pricing to grab something for you, you know, it's stopping me from hitting my quota. And I value my job more than, you know, getting you the shoe that you're not even going to buy most of the time. But generally, it is pretty easy. If it's right there, you know, we'll show you and put a price on it for you. So,
and this is a prime example. People, when they watch Thrift Hunters, they were like, oh, there's no way you're allowed in warehouses and back rooms. And I was before the show and definitely after the show because people know me now. Be nice to the thrift store employees. They're going to help you out. And look what happens. Like, we became actual friends. Right. So you never know what being nice is. So when I'm looking and lurking in the back room and I'm like, hey, can I see that? It's always, hey, can I see that? Very like, if you don't want to show me, that's cool. I'll walk away. I'm never mean about it. And so that's what happens. I do want to point out something that was funny that just went by. We have a couple deaf listeners or watchers who then watch later with the closed caption on, and they're like, Cambridge must have said something disgusting based on our reaction.
Oh, yeah.
So, yes. So when you see this, you will totally enjoy that. All right. So, Nadine, if you notice, there was a screw up 10 and 11
I've caught it already. Yes.
Just go ahead with that one.
I'm on it. So, do Savers employees get any kind of training at all regarding counterfeit merchandise? And if they do, is there any policy regarding selling fake merchandise?
There's no training regarding counterfeit merchandise. Like, let's say we have a Louis Vuitton purse. You know, we're no experts. You know, we have no idea if it's actually real. We've been there, majority of us, long enough. You know, we're kind of, you know, veterans in that department that we kind of know if it's like looks legit, but there's really no absolute way to find out. So we try to put the best price that we can on it. As far as like, for example, we had a Chanel bag that came in, I think it was 2 years ago. Big black Chanel bag, had the certificate of authenticity in it, which was crap because the lady bought it for $300. $390. She bought it for $400. We priced it for $400. She bought it, came back, took it to the store. She said, the Chanel store, and they said that it was fake. So that certificate was false, obviously. So there was nothing we could do. We don't give cash back anyway. It's only exchange. And so she called corporate, and corporate worked out a deal. She actually had like weeks to exchange $400 worth of you know, buy anything she wanted, obviously. So for several weeks, she came in every day, and she would buy, you know, $50 here, $100 there, and until she fit up that $400. But otherwise, there's no real policy and, you know, in place for that. We just wing it, honestly.
What if you find something that you absolutely know is a screaming counterfeit item? Will you still put it out?
Actually, we do. We still sell absolutely. If it's sellable, we will sell it, and anyone will buy it because we'll price it really cheap, and some people have no problem buying something counterfeit if it's reasonable, really cheap, because it looks real to other people, so they have no problem doing that.
So you usually just price those items much lower then?
Absolutely.
Okay.
But on that note, I have found legit Coach purses at Cambridge Savers, so it's got to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. How much of a backlog of inventory does a store generally have at one time? 2 weeks worth? Question mark. A month worth? Question mark.
So we have a lot of inventory that we kind of keep throughout the year. Like, let's say, you know, winter items. Right now it's summer. We're not going to put out a whole bunch of winter items. So we'll keep that, you know, in the back room. But as for like the general amount of product we get, we have maybe a couple weeks worth at our location at one time because we keep receiving truckloads every single day, you know, thousands of pounds worth of merchandise that we process. So it's a constant flow.
It's not, it ended so abruptly. I was like, oh shit, I got to get back to Nadine.
I was like,
so our next
and scene.
So our next question is, since Savers is part of a chain, do the donations get shuffled around at all? For example, if one store is running low on shoes, do they get shoes from another branch?
And I love this question because I don't know the answer.
Absolutely, we do. It doesn't always happen that we run out of products. We kind of go through a phase where we're not getting any missile, you know, no houseware items, things like that. Or we do go a phase of not getting any books at all. We'll go through a long phase of that for some reason. I remember several months of not receiving anything, almost any books to process. And what we will do is contact the other locations, and sometimes they will drop it off. Usually we go and get it. We'll rent a U-Haul truck, you know, we'll load it in there, and we'll come drop it off at our store. And that's the pretty convenient thing about it. But unfortunately, if it's within the same district, if we're not receiving books, usually neither are they. So we're kind of all at a loss, and we just lose out on that.
So I'm going to sidetrack a little bit here. The donation card is company wide, right?
Yes, for the most part.
I know there's a couple that are like they're rogue. They're like, screw that donation card, we ain't doing it. Yeah. But for the most part, so us as thrifters, and you see it every week, we have a dud of the week. And so Nadine has duds, I have duds. Some duds don't sell. Some duds have to go back to the store. When you have a Savers near you, there's some rogue ones. If for every bag you get a sticker or a stamp, if you get 6, you get 30% off your next total purchase. So what I do, down in my garage, there's a shelf of mistakes. And when I'm heading to Savers, I package up 6 bags of mistakes. I take them to Savers. They give me a 30% off card. and I shop again. It's just the circle of life for a thrifted item.
Oh,
So
that's great.
yep.
It's a really big recycling program.
Did you know this term? Because I don't know this.
Yes, I do.
Okay, all right. So I meant to ask you if you knew that term. Okay.
I was surprised when I saw that. I was like, how do you guys know?
Must have been an industry insider for this question.
Am I being set up?
No. Cambridge, this is your life. Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, crap.
Can you talk about ragging out? Who buys the old clothes? I'm guessing they're sold in big bundles, maybe in 100-pound bales.
Yes, all the merchandise we have on the sales floor, obviously not all of it sells. And when we process the merchandise we can't sell, like the things with holes, tears, rips in it, those are called rag outs or recycles. We now call them recycles, but the old schools like myself still call them rag outs. We had to change it to recycle because saying rag out on the sales floor with customers kind of sound a little negative, you know, so go green, which we do. Everything, which we do. No, recycle is a legitimate term for it because everything that we can't sell or don't sell all gets bundled up in bales and we sell it to India and Africa. Everything is for very reasonable and they use all the products. We would e-waste our electronics, all the books get recycled. All the clothing, all the shoes, everything gets recycled.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good round of applause.
Yeah, that was. When thrifting at a Savers and we find a great item, say 2 glasses of a certain kind, should we ask if there's any more of them in the back? Or are employees even allowed to check?
That really depends. It's not an issue to ask. I mean, you might get the really nice person that will go all the way back there and check for you. Customer service, you know, it's great. And, you know, make a sale, absolutely. But generally, you know, you could come across the rare item. Like we process everything comes out. But some of the items we process, if they got donated together, will be separated on separate carts. So one thing we sort and sell 1 cart's worth of product, we get the second batch maybe 2 weeks from then or the next week. So you'll see the rest of that set a week later. So we can go check, but we will only check to the extent to where if it's on the table already, we're not going to go through the carts to see if the product is there. But there's no harm in asking.
I did that last week, 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. Remember with the cassettes?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So I found like 10 or 11 of the same kind of thing, cassette sets, and I asked the person in charge of that corner of the back room, "Are there any more? Because I'll buy them all." And she's like, "Nope, they were all out." But it was a quick question. I asked her first. She said, "Hey, when you see this girl, she's the one you should ask." Then I asked her. You know, easy peasy. Well, we kind of answer this. Do all Savers have the same arrangement for discounts? Oh,
basically, yeah.
Basically, but there's some rogue that are like, screw the system.
Yeah, and or have discounts on different days.
Now, I was shocked when I first started going to Savers. They've changed how their discounts work over the years.
Yeah.
But there's always been a discount when you donate it. And I did that in the East Coast, and this is years ago. I donated some stuff when I was out in Massachusetts. And in Vegas, they gave you 20% off your whole bill. In Massachusetts, they gave you $3 off. I'm like, what?
Yeah, we actually have that as well. If you donate through our nonprofit, like Big Brothers Big Sisters, they're the ones that give us the trucks. They give you a tax slip up to $500, and attached to that is a $3 off coupon. But if you donate in the store, you can ask for the tax slip, which we will always give you, and still receive a 20% off coupon. So you get both. So it's better. We prefer inside donations as opposed to receiving them through the trucks. And that's kind of the incentive to get customers to bring them in through the front doors.
Jennifer Flanders, your question will be answered in about 6 questions, so hang tight.
Okay, so the next question is, generally speaking, what do thrift store workers think about resellers in your experience? And are there any do's and don'ts that we should all be aware of, or mostly be aware of?
Kind of goes back to the don't hover on me when I'm trying to do my job.
Keep answering.
Yeah, I can't do my job. So otherwise, I remember some of the employees really disliked the resellers because they're like, oh my God, we're trying to sell something for $5 and they're going to make $100 off of it. Who cares? As long as they pay us what we want for it, you know, all the money is going to the nonprofits and to us. As long as it's paid for how I see it, I'm fine. I don't care who buys it as long as you buy it. but some employees still kind of have like an icky feeling about it. I think they're just kind of jealous because they're not doing the same thing. So, yeah.
All right. So this next question is a two-part, but if the first part is no, then it's not meant for the second part.
Mm-hmm.
Does Savers sell online?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Well, question over.
Nope.
We all know Goodwill does. You'll see.
Yes.
Goodwill. Savers is a nationally owned by the same company. Goodwills are owned by different people in different states, different sections of the states, and they all have their online sellers. Savers doesn't, and so they don't.
Nope.
Next question.
That's part of your question, isn't it? Still, or
Yeah.
oh no. Okay, so that we're on the next question.
Skip the next
okay.
one because we've already answered it.
Yep. Okay. Our workers.
Wait. Skip the next, or just ask the first part of the next one.
Are workers allowed to purchase things before they go out on the floor?
No. Go to the next one.
Oh, the next one? Okay, so what do you like and dislike about working at Savers?
I have to see.
Wait a minute. Read the second part because that's going to be me.
You said not to read the second part.
No, I meant the dislike part. That's what I meant.
Okay.
Like.
Oh, okay. Okay, so don't answer the dislike part. What kind
We
of...
would like Cambridge to keep her job.
No, we want you to keep your job. Yeah.
Because I will answer.
So
honestly.
what kind? Okay, what kind of customers do you love, and what kind could use improvement?
She loves this.
I obviously love the nice customers. I particularly love the customers that bring me food. That's definitely
Oh, okay.
yeah, that is the best. They bring me cupcakes or homemade cookies and stuff. It's absolutely fantastic. I really like that. I just have to say the worst. You can't even call them customers because they're stealing. So I guess the thieves. I don't know how many times. I mean the police like, oh, are you Cambridge? Almost. That's almost how it is. How many times we've called the cops on thieves. And I guess just customers that are always trying. We don't bargain. Or we do not. There's no barter. You can't. Don't try to talk us down. How about $5? What about $3? No, $3.50.
Give me two. Give me two.
We
Give me
do
two.
not do that. It's like you buy it, or it's going back on the shelf, and someone else is gonna buy it, and that kind of gets a little repetitious. That's kind of annoying, but other than that, I pretty much like everybody else. Just don't steal.
I will say the next question kind of is what you just answered, but there's a little extra part to it. Do you resent resellers? And those that are nice, I know is a no, like me. But this person says, a couple times I've been asked if I'm buying for resale. Do you ever bug any of us who are shopping? Like, are you buying for resale?
No.
Me, Cheryl, I mean,
because like I said, I don't care. Like, if you're gonna buy it, that's awesome. Just buy it. I don't care what you're buying it for. You can buy it to throw it away. I mean, just buy it. Help the sales. I want to get my bonus.
All right. So here's Jennifer Flanders' question now.
Okay. So what is the strangest thing that you have found in the donation bin?
There is a long list right next to the list of crazy things that happen.
It's another 4-hour show right there.
Absolutely. Aside from like dirty used underwear and stuff, and like the worst part is like grabbing inside a pocket to see if it's money, right? Because we find money. That's an amazing thing to find. But finding like used underwear, that's probably really gross. But I would say the most interesting that I can remember right now was an urn with someone's ashes in it. We actually had an urn. Yeah, on a side note, someone had called, this is years difference, like maybe I think it was 4 years ago we received the urn of someone's ashes. And then I remember maybe it was probably within this last year, we got a call asking if we received their urn that they had just accidentally donated, which I don't know how you accidentally donate your father's ashes.
Shit, where'd Grandpa go?
But it happens. I guess it happens, and someone donated the deed to their house, which was,
holy shit.
Yes, which was thrown away, by the way, because loose papers goes into the trash.
Yeah.
So
oh my gosh.
Oh, I own Cambridge's house now. All right.
I have literally heard the man on the phone tell me that he's gonna divorce his wife because she donated his laptop. That has happened, but yeah, you have to remember sometimes the things we receive, like let's say an older woman has passed away in her home, everything gets possessed from the house, so we get everything, everything that lady had, we get it at the store. So An urn. I guess that's how we got the
I have
urn.
a question though. If you find money, do you get to keep it?
No, we do not get to keep the money, unfortunately. But I guess it's a good thing too. It depends on how much money we find. If we find a certain amount, we get a certain percentage of it, up to a certain amount. You know, this is a bit ridiculous,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
But
1%.
But literally, we have found thousands. You know, several at one point, several $1,000s at one point
In an urn.
that would be a place to keep it. But what happens is we keep the money and we give it to the nonprofit. So Big Brothers Big Sisters, one of our nonprofits, receives the money, so it helps their programs.
So sorry, Nay. Hang on. Hang on. Keep that thought. Remember that thought.
Okay.
I just thought of my story about Close Encounters of the Thrifty Kind for next week. It's when Savers was in the other location. Yours.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. See,
Was it the one you that you?
Yes, it is.
Everything I remember you telling me.
You've got to tune in next week.
Yeah.
It is the craziest story you will ever hear
Crazy.
outside of a Savers. Holy shit. Okay, go ahead, Nadine.
I think I might know what you're talking about. So has there ever been a time where you have found like a personal item that someone has obviously accidentally donated that you've tried to hunt down the actual owner or family now?
I mean, it would depend on, like, there's no way of us finding out. Like, I think some items are pretty personal that they accidentally donated because they are amazing and you shouldn't donate that kind of thing.
Massagers?
Right. Oh, yes. we actually do get those, and always a laugh around the back room, like, oh, look at that, you know, which we're not supposed to do, but come on.
I mean, like, if you found, like, if you reached into the pocket of something and you found, like, someone's war veteran item or dog tags or something like that, would Savers try to go and find the no?
We can't even sell, like, if it's a dog tag, if it has any personal name, like even magazines that have the address and a name, we have to tear that off. And any personal items like dog tags, we cannot sell for, you know.
Okay.
Well, can I ask you this? Not that I could save the whole world, but at your store, if you got something like that, could we set up something where I could try and find an owner? No. I like to help.
Because they're not gonna. It gets, you know, thrown away. Yeah, it gets thrown away.
That's a bummer.
Yeah, it is unfortunate. I mean, there are some things that get thrown away. That's just like, you know, it's a bummer that it's gonna be wasted that way. But Savers just is not. I guess they say they're just not gonna waste the time to, you know, to do that. It just takes too much time out of the day and effort. They don't have someone particular, anyone specific to do that. Yeah.
All right, so we are at a little over the hour, so I want to hit two more questions. I'll do one, then Nate does one, then we'll wrap it up.
Okay.
I'll do the quick, easy one. What's the least? Oh wait, you said this already.
Well, there you go.
Yes, we've already covered one, so we have two more then.
Did you say the most expensive thing you found besides money?
Was a gold. We found a gold nugget. I found
Gold
a gold
nugget,
like an actual gold nugget. Like, I almost didn't think it was real when I picked it up. It was,
wow.
Is this a real gold? It had some cheap, like, cubic zirconia, you know, like, plastered on it. But the gold nugget was real. Like, that was, like, amazing. And I think that's, like, the best find that I was able to come up with. You know, I'm sure some other people have found some other amazing things, but...
Massagers.
Yeah. Yeah, but who wants to reuse those? I mean...
By the way, I'll be sharing some stories from a thrift store about adult massagers in the near future. Stay tuned. All right, Nate, you got the last question for Cambridge.
Okay, and this is a kind of long one. So Goodwill has an outlet store for all the Goodwills to help empty their shelves when it gets too full and no one is buying the product from the shelf. So what does Savers do when their shelves are too full of product and no one is buying it from, say, for example, glassware? And do they still have a ton of stuff to put out, but there isn't any room? Since they don't have an outlet store to help make room, are they throwing it away after a period of time? I know that you did mention recycling, so you might have partially answered that. So,
yeah, that goes back to the recycling. If we don't have space on the floor, like Jay was saying, we like to make our racks not as packed so that it's easy to shop through. So we take out the old. This is why the color tag system is very important. We take out the old color tag, which shows us, like, it's been out there for a month, nobody wants it, not even at half off. So, you know, we take out the old and everything gets recycled, so we have space to put out the fresh product, which we know will sell. And if we have, like, no shelf, you know, no space on the shelves, it just all gets recycled. Everything gets taken out. and recycled.
And I gotta imagine that's the reason you have the 50% off sales
Yes.
during any Monday holiday or major holiday. Savers has a 50% off sale, so that moves a lot of product.
Yeah, that's really just to make money, not to make space.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I thought it was like a 1-2 punch.
No, not really, because we actually dislike how empty the shelves become after, because we sell so much that we can only process as fast as we can process every day. So after the sale, and we got to fill up those shelves, because the goal is to make them look, full, not empty. We don't want people thinking we're going out of business. So for us to do that, we can't double process or work 10 times faster. So it's hard for us to refill those shelves up. So
it must be tough to work on those sale days. That must be that must be kind of exhausting to deal with, because I know how packed it gets at thrift stores with.
It's actually a million times better now that we have the club card, because before the club card, the sale was only one day, so it was only 5 times a year. Now we have a couple other ones like in July. But there was only 5 times a year the sale, Martin Luther King sale, President's Day, everything like that.
Day.
Labor Day and Memorial. But for us, it was one day we would make so much. There would be so many people, like the line would be out the store. You could barely, you can't breathe in there. But now that we have the club card, that red card that you saw earlier, you with that card, which is free, you can come on Sunday the day before and get the same sale. So it's kind of split. So now we have half as many people one day and half the next day. So it's a lot easier that way.
Yeah, that must make your job much less stressful.
It really does.
Yeah.
All right, so I want to thank my guest, Cambridge. She was awesome. Yay!
Cambridge, yes,
and I don't know if we're becoming more popular or because of you, we had our biggest live audience tonight.
Oh, really?
That's great.
And it stayed consistent the whole time. We hit a high of 163. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in.
Right.
Thanks for staying. I'm glad you're enjoying the show. Nadine and I get tons of great comments about the show. We're glad you're liking it. I do want to share one thing. I'm going to do my haul video from today on Sunday, but I had to share the one item I found today because I'm excited like a big girl. I got a Spice Girls card that I'm going to put on a necklace. So, if you're coming to see me in Orlando next week at the Scam Power Conference, I'll be rocking my Spice Girls necklace. So I'm very excited. So if you're going to see me in Orlando next week, I have 2 classes. Tampa is now full. I think I might have 1 spot left for Orlando. Find me in Thrifting with the Boys or message me. It's easy. Facebook/Tiki Pug. That is me. TIKIPUG. Who in the hell is ringing our doorbell at 7:07 at night? Oh my gosh. I don't know. But yes, find me. I got 1 spot left. I saw people talking about Orlando. So that is next week. I got other things coming up. We'll talk about them later. I am so happy to see my girl Nadine, who is now on the screen, looking healthy, looking good, feeling good. I'm so happy to see you, girl. I'm so happy you got through that. I know there's tons more to get through, but you're looking good.
Thank you.
Woo! All right, so that is episode 6. That's it. We had a great episode. Thank you, Cambridge. Thank you, audience, which half of it just left to go see who's ringing the damn doorbell at 7:07 at night. And thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Saturday, look for our haul video. It's going to be around 3 p.m. Eastern. Did I get a package?
Another T-shirt in a really
No, those are shorts. Those are shorts.
Okay.
Way too big of a bag. Absolutely. Talk about reinforcing the point. So Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern, haul video. Tune in live if you want. Of course, you can always watch it after the fact. All our videos are able to be watched. If you like what you're watching, click the thumbs up down below here and subscribe to me. It'll let you know when we're having more videos. So subscribe, click like, leave us a message after the fact. All the chatter going on is great, but once it becomes an actual video to watch at your leisure, please leave us a little note. Tell us what you like, what you don't like. We will fix it. We'll add more. We'll have more fun guests like Cambridge here. Cambridge might come back someday, and we'll hang out. We'll talk giant hair because Cambridge has some awesomely giant hair.
She has awesome hair.
Yeah, she's great.
Any last words, Nadine?
No, I just want to thank everyone again for the support and all of the positive comments. It's keeping me going, and I'm just going to keep on fighting. So thank you so much, everyone.
Oh, one last note. Next week's guest, I'm going to be in Orlando and then in Tampa. And my high school girlfriend lives in Tampa with her awesome husband, Tom. And I taught them how to thrift and sell on eBay, and they're quite successful at it. So we're going to have a live in-studio guest, but I'm going to be in their house. So it'll be our first time of me being on the road that isn't with Nadine. So tune in next week. You're going to see people who had two people who just had normal everyday jobs, and they figured out how to work eBay in and make it successful and make them lots of money. And right now, right this moment, they're on vacation on the profits from their eBay store. So
That's
tune
great.
in next week to see Haley and Tom.
Yay.
Thank you, Cambridge. Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right.
Anytime.
Good night, everybody. Good night, Nadine. We'll see you all on Saturday for the haul video. If you don't make that, we'll see you next Thursday.
Woo!
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Wannabe bastard. So this kind of looks like the suffering bastard, kind of mopey. And I'm going to shock you again. I've never had this drink. In all my years of hanging out at tiki bars, I've never had the suffering bastard. And that's one of the main tiki drinks. So here we go. That's a drink. That is not rum, but that is a drink. Bourbon and gin and ginger ale, bitters, and fresh lime juice. No, but that's all right. I like that. I'm going to put him right back here so he's in the shot. And how's your tea?
My tea is pretty good for tea. Yes, it's good. Not as good as your drink, I'm sure, but
yeah, we'll get you back on there. Oops. We will get you back on having cocktails. All right. We have a new segment tonight. Oh, that was weak sauce. Let's try that again. We got a new segment tonight. It's Nay's breast cancer update and fact of the week. Ta-da! All right, the floor is yours, Nay.
So I know everybody's wondering how I'm doing, so I'm being very out in the open about my journey. Thank you so much, everyone, for the support and the thoughts. It's been a very rough week because I did just have my double mastectomy a little over a week ago, but I am up, I am moving around, I am forcing myself, I'm going to physical therapy now already. Had my drains out. I know that doesn't sound too pleasant, but they're gone. And I just went to the doctor today, and I got some decent news. The left side that I electively had taken off was completely filled with precancerous cells, so I know I made the right decision. That would have been full-blown cancer in probably just a couple years. And my right side was full of cancer. However, the invasive cancer was only in the first line of lymph nodes, so hopefully that means something good, and I will go to the oncologist on Tuesday and find out more. I'm also having full-body CAT scans and bone scans next week, so we'll get that fear, that hump of fear over with next week.
Now it is time for the duds of the week. And you will recognize my dud from 2 weeks ago or a week ago. The Jason Giambi jersey that I had asked him, well, actually, maybe I'm sorry, maybe it was on the show, but I asked him our group, 13 with the boys, why isn't my Giambi jersey selling? It is a batting practice jersey, New York Yankees, and I bought it on season 2 of Thrift Hunters, and it wasn't selling. I asked in the group, and like with anything, if you touch something, if you talk about it, if you question it, it sells. It only sold for a whole $16, but it sold. So I got a dud that I've had for a year out of my house. I only paid $3, so I probably banked like $2, $3. So it wasn't a huge, it wasn't a complete dud, but it was a dud that I was happy to get rid of.
Yay!
Well, getting rid of a dud is definitely a good thing.
And then here's Nay's dud, and then we'll do some live in-person dud.
Okay, so I sell a lot of sewing patterns, and usually vintage Vogue patterns are good sellers, especially a little girl's dress like this. However, I made the mistake. I usually don't buy cut patterns unless there's something that are really popular and I know are going to sell well. So I made the mistake. It was all folded. It looked like it was factory folded. I got it home. I opened it. I checked it out, and it was all cut. So unfortunately, this did not sell as much as it would have had it been uncut and factory folded. it probably would have sold for a good $10 more. But at least it's sold, it's gone, and it's just a little lesson to really check your patterns if you don't want to buy uncut patterns, to really check them while in the thrift store. So.
Hey, it's a boo, it's a dud, boo. That's true.
I got rid of it, yes.
And then I actually have a live dud that you saw this in our first episode when Nay and I were in Philly together. I bought this cool old school base.
So hopefully nothing will be found anywhere else. And I'm just pressing on, and I'm going to fight. So, and I also wanted to give a little fact every week about breast cancer, just to keep up on the awareness part. And my fact for this week is that there's over 2.8 million women who are breast cancer survivors in the U.S. alone, and that's an astounding number. It's also very encouraging because it's encouraging for me and other women like me who are fighting. But it's also sad because it shows that we really need to raise awareness and better technology and better detection, earlier detection, because that's a high number, and that's just the survivor number. So. That's all I have to say, and thank you for listening.
For looking awesome a week after surgery.
Thank you so much. Thank you everybody for the support again. It really means a lot. It's keeping me going.
All right, it is time for our score of the week, and we're going to start with my scores here. Then we'll hop over to Nay's, and mine I just sold yesterday, and we just packed it today. And you might see the shipping tip in a future episode because it was a little bit tricky. I sold this 3-foot-long plush armadillo. And if you can see in the picture, that's a Bud Light can. Because I felt without a little bit of scale, people would have thought, even though I wrote the words 3 foot long, people would have thought it was a smaller plush. So I bought this for $5 and I sold it for $100. Oh, actually, this is part of my shipping tip this week. So you'll hear more about this armadillo. So study it, learn it, remember it. We'll come back to him in a little bit.
Very good. And I like that you use the can as the scale. I actually have done that before, with a soda can, because it's something that everybody knows the size of, and it gives a great reference for perspective. So that's a good tip too.
My other score of the week are these red 501 Levi's. What's happening, everybody? Welcome to Thrifty Business with Jay and Nay. I am your host, Vegas Jay, and with me, as always, is
Philly Nay. Hi, everybody.
What's happening? And look at that, we have an audience tonight. Oops, going the wrong way. You make some sounds. Now you're there.
Hey.
Now you're on the air. So we have Cheryl, my good friend. I feel like I'm on the Family Feud. We have my good friend Cheryl. We have my lovely wife Stacy holding our little baby Atoja, and our guest tonight, Cambridge. All right, it is Thursday night, and what do we do at the top of every Thursday night? We
Tiki Talk.
Oh, my mouse is not being friendly with me there.
We are ready to do Jay's Tiki Talk.
All right, it is time for Jay's Tiki Talk. We talk about rum, we talk about tiki mugs, a little bit of everything. But tonight, shockingly, no rum in this tiki drink. We had a fan of our show said, "Hey, Jay, any tiki drinks without rum? Because I'm allergic to rum." And my heart stopped. Allergic to rum? How could that possibly be? Say it isn't so. So I knew of the ultimate classic tiki drink. It is called the Suffering Bastard, and it is made with gin and bourbon. So no rum whatsoever.
And I am on pain medicine from my surgery, so I am drinking tea tonight. Nothing exciting.
And what kind of tea are you drinking, my dear?
It is green tea with pomegranate.
Very nice. All right, so in the Suffering Bastard, it actually comes with a very specific mug. It is called the Suffering Bastard mug. If you find a vintage one, you can get at least $100 every day of the week. I shockingly don't have one, but I have a kind of modern one from a company that makes mugs that I collect. And this is called the One. I had them up for exactly 1 month, and they sold for $65. And they were made in the USA, Levi's. So keep your eyes open for that, and especially keep your eyes open for different colors. Tons of blues, but purples, reds, blacks, the dark rinse of blue. You don't see them as often. So
how do you know it was made in the USA?
Because it says made in the USA.
Oh, good reason.
So those are my 2 scores. And now here is Nadine's score.
Okay, now this is a score. You see $19.99 there, but I sold 4 of them to the same person. And actually, it's kind of funny because a couple weeks ago when we had Lynn Drawley on, I was going to ask her about these because these were sitting in my store for a while and they weren't selling. And then lo and behold, a couple weeks later, all 4 of them sold, $19.99 a piece, so that was an almost $80 sale right there. And she got them. She was thrilled. So that also goes to show that when you have a multi-variation listing, often, especially with something like this, someone will come along and just buy everything that you have. So that was a great sale. So.
Yay! My audience is a little lackluster today. I got to fire them up.
We're intrigued. We're listening intently.
Now I'm showing this one because I had just talked about these a couple weeks ago. They were actually purchased when Jason was here thrifting with me at that Salvation Army in the sketchy neighborhood that we went to. And they are Lily Pulitzer sandals. They had this beautiful frog. It was like a really blingy kind of jeweled frog on it, and they sold. I think they actually sold for full asking price. It was a couple weeks ago, but of $39.99. And again, happy customer, so good sale there. And I paid I think $7.99 for those. So
much better. I feel like I woke up the audience. All right. You have a live audience, and they're all quiet. All righty, we've done our score.